We have an update on the potential WWE return of Brock Lesnar. A tag team split was teased on last night's AEW Dynamite, and Joe Hendry has made a big announcement. It's time for the news. So you may have seen on a recent Backstage Pass Q&A, Bill Apter said the WWE officials were in talks once again with Brock Lesnar. This was backed up by WrestleVote soon after, with them just tweeting yes, as in yes, it's happening. But according to a report from Fightful Select, there are currently no plans for Brock Lesnar to return. And what was said on WrestleVote's radio was denied within the company on a high level. According to Fightful's source, there are no creative plans in place for Lesnar, and if conversations have occurred, they have not been briefed on that, as in their source, the creative team member. They've not been briefed on a potential Brock Lesnar return. They continued saying that they've also not heard of any creative pitches for him in months, with one source saying that they would be surprised if Lesnar returned while the feds investigated the allegations. What do you make of this?
It doesn't surprise me, to be honest. I think for a while now at this point, I feel like we've heard little rumblings of, oh, he's coming back, and then people have been like, no, he's not coming back because of the investigation and this, that, and the other. So the fact that the investigation isn't closed yet, and, you know, Lesnar's a part of that, I think it'd be silly to bring him back, really.
I agree. I love Brock Lesnar as a performer. I think he's amazing, but I agree it would be really, really foolish while he is implicated in this lawsuit, while a federal investigation is ongoing.
Yes.
Alongside that, it would be really foolish because who knows, obviously, what's going to come out and what's where that is going to go. Do you miss Brock Lesnar on TV? If you, it sounds like a foolish thing to say. If you were to put everything aside, as a character, do you miss seeing him on WWE TV?
Like, do you know what? Thinking about it, because prior to him going away for a bit, I think he was probably the best character that he had been within the company because he was just having fun. But do I miss him? I think there's other people that have stepped into that beast-like role that have done a really good job and have kind of like, you know, within at least like the Royal Rumble where he was supposed to be a part of that, but then they kind of gave that spot and the spots that were going to happen in that match to Bron Breakker. And
Bron's
I
been
think,
great.
yeah, Bron's been brilliant
Bronson
in that
Reed,
role.
You've got as well. You've got Obafemi in NXT. I love Brock Lesnar, his work so much, and I found that when other people were tiring of Suplex City, and you know what you're getting with a Brock match, I generally wasn't. I think there's no performer in the world, in the history of professional wrestling, like Brock Lesnar. Again, it would be foolish to bring him back to TV. Brock Lesnar is one of the few guys that I can think of a heap of dream matches. I don't think you get that. Even with some of my favorite wrestlers, I can't always go, right, that's a dream match, that hasn't happened. That's a dream match, that's a dream match. With Brock Lesnar, just some of the names we've mentioned there. Brock versus Obafemi. He was meant to be in a program with Gunther as well, heading into WrestleMania 40. That's a dream match for me. So I do miss him, but I don't think they are lacking in any way in star power in WWE. I think this is a great time as far as you don't need Brock Lesnar. We've seen previously Vince McMahon hit the panic button and bring back Brock really, really quickly to inflate viewership figures or ticket sales or whatever. I don't think that they don't have that problem at the moment. So it's a nice time, I guess, for WWE to have Brock Lesnar off TV. If all this stuff hadn't happened, would they like him on screen? Of course they would. Because Brock is a huge draw with massive mainstream appeal as well, huge crossover appeal. Time will tell on it.
Yes. It will, won't it?
Yeah, it will. Last night on AEW Dynamite, a tag team split was teased. So the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn getting interviewed. Billy was asked what's next for them after their huge Wrestle Dream 2024 pre-show win. Gunn responded that they were going to go to the gym and he was going to go and get the car. He pisses off. MVP soon enters alongside Shelton Benjamin, who had his debut match last night as well in the company, handed his Hurt Syndicate business card to Max Caster. Max Caster takes it, put it in his pocket. Anthony Bowens didn't want to do it. He doesn't want to be a part of this at all. Absolutely not. However, it looked like Max Caster may be a little bit more keen on the idea. I'm all for this. I really, really am. I mean, you can tell that Max Caster has been fed up for year and a half, 2 years. He's a heel on Twitter, so why not make him a heel on screen?
That's the thing, and I feel like it is bleeding a little bit more into the stuff that he's doing on telly, more recently at least anyway, because it was weird when, the Acclaimed were at the height of their babyfaceness, and he was still like tweeting weird stuff on Twitter, like what? It just felt like such a juxtaposition, and yeah, I like the fact that he was just like staring off, Bowens was like, come on, let's go and whatever, and Caster was still kind of like looking towards the direction of MVP, and Shelton Benjamin, and whether they split them apart and Caster would join them, or whether there would be a heel team within that group, I kind of like that idea as well. The fact that maybe we think, oh, well, Bowens doesn't want to do it, but then maybe, he gets a little bit corrupted by it as well and comes over too. I
would like to see, I think, the split happen, because I think there's money in an Anthony Bowens babyface run. I think he's so likable. He's so great at what he does. I think he's the stronger performer as far as the in-ring stuff goes. I see him, and I just like, there's a guy I'd like a pint with. I think he's class. I think Anthony Bowens is class, and I think he would be really successful as a singles guy. Yeah. Max Caster as a heel.
Oh, I think that would be successful too.
I think it would, yeah. I think there's a bit of like Enzo Amore-ness about him. He's just, he's that repugnant little dickhead, isn't he? Or he has the potential to be that repugnant little dickhead.
No, I can see that, yeah.
I think it could work really well. Time will tell on that one as well. Speaking of Shelton Benjamin, by the way, just before we move on, he signed with AEW.
Yeah, he got the graphic.
He got the graphic,
Got the graphic.
Well, I didn't realise that hadn't gone up yet.
Yeah, it's a strange one, but yes.
That was posted to social media after I'm bloody hell, what a super kick.
Oh my God.
That was bonkers.
Nigel said something like, he actually kicked him in the back of the head. His face just got in the way. Like, oh my God. That's such a good call.
Good. Well worth watching that match. Shelton very much on form last night, as he always is.
Yes.
Speaking of AEW, one of their factions has gotten a new member. The Don Callis family grew larger on last night's episode, with Callis introducing Brian Cage as his latest acquisition. He said that Cage and Archer, who he acquired last Wednesday in a trade with Jake Roberts, would be eyeing up the AEW Tag Team Championships.
Do you know what?
Go on.
It does things for me, does this.
Me too.
Because I love a big, dominant, monster heel tag team. And them going after the tag team titles, or just being within that division, is going to be great, because we've got big boys in, I guess, FTR. What? Hey,
we got big boys.
We got big boys. We've got like stockier guys, I guess, in like
stocky.
No, like Broadman. We've got Broadman in people like the Outrunners and FTR and people like that. But
those fatties, yeah.
No, I'm not saying fatties.
No,
but
go on. Make your point. Sorry.
I feel like there's a difference between that and the monsters that are Brian Cage and Lance Archer.
Yeah, I think they're two guys who have been really underutilized. I think they've been misbooked many times. And yeah, I think they're class as well.
Yeah. Big boys?
Yeah, they are. Big boys.
Big boys.
Big boys. We're going to finish off with some exciting news from one Joe Hendry, who has announced that he will be entering, and I don't know if it's called this anymore. I wrote this document, but the Eurovision Song Contest. I think it's just Eurovision now.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to be entering Eurovision in 2025. He tweeted out, "It's official. As I confirmed on BBC Radio Scotland, about 4 months from now, we will submit, I believe, in Joe Hendry, open brackets, Eurovision remix, close brackets, clap, clap, in good time for the March deadline. No matter the outcome, this will be fun." Clap, clap again. So that's going to be in Basel on Saturday, the 17th of May. Semi-finals taking place on Tuesday and Thursday, 13th and 15th of May. So there's a bit of a wait for this. Best of luck to him. I think it's great. And it's another reason for people to get behind Joe Hendry and appeal to more people, non-wrestling fans especially.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing about the Joe Hendry, the meme and everything. Like, it got over huge with people who don't watch wrestling.
Well, it transcended, didn't it? Transcended wrestling to the point where, like, my mum would scroll on something and be like, oh, there's this guy who's just like turns his head and this, that and the other, and it's like, that feels so weird that mum knows who Joe Hendry is when I don't speak to her about wrestling like at all. So
yeah, it's amazing. It's really great for him. Best of luck to him. I think there's some interesting wording in here. when he says about 4 months from now, because earlier this week he responded to a fan who was saying something to the effect of, "Oh, Joe Hendry's fallen off. People aren't talking about him." And he's like, "Oh, look what happens in 4 months."
Yeah.
Everybody immediately goes, "Oh, Rumble. That's taking place as of the 1st of February, very early February next year."
Very early February.
And everybody's like, okay, so he's teasing a Rumble appearance. That's locked in, surely. But now, the fact that he specified 4 months from now, was he talking about Eurovision?
It's difficult because I've seen online some people think that him saying 4 months here in this Eurovision thing is trying to temper the expectations of a Rumble thing, or at least try and maybe hide it a little bit. Maybe someone within WWE is purely speculation has been like, hey, maybe we should keep that a little bit more quiet.
Yeah.
And then therefore he's been like, oh, well, 4 months, it's the Eurovision thing. And everyone was like, oh, okay.
That's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
We will see.
Who knows?
I hope he has as much success as Father Ted Crilly and Father Dougal Maguire in their classic.
My Lovely Horse beforehand, yeah.
It's a banger.
It's so good.
So good. So good. Before we go, I just want to say, because this is the first time I think I've been on video that isn't a live stream anyway, since we relaunched the Patreon. I wanted to say a massive, massive thank you to everybody who has decided to support us on there. If you've missed it for whatever reason, AEW WTF is coming back to Patreon. WWE WTF is switching over there as well. And we're doing punishments.
Yep.
There's signed merch. There's all sorts of stuff. Please do check it out if you haven't already. Essentially, it's secured the future of some of the stuff that we wanted to do but haven't been financially able to do for some time. And it's made it so that we can do that stuff again. Nobody wants to put anything behind a paywall. It's a miserable choice to have to make, obviously. YouTube has become more and more difficult with both in regard to the financial side, as well as just them taking videos down, demonetizing them, all of those things. So thank you very, very much for your support. Massively, massively appreciate it. Not looking forward to doing the punishments, which is why I'm going to win all of them, obviously.
We'll see.
We'll see. So thank you very much. It's patreon.com/cultaholic if you do want to give your support. There's early access stuff. There's all sorts. Have a look. Thank you very much. We'll see you hopefully for more news later in the day. See you in a bit.